All right, we're good. Welcome into the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. We are all here for first time, and it feels like a while, even though I think it's been like 2 weeks. It has been much shorter than it feels like, but we are back. We are here to recap the NCAA tournament, and we're getting off the rails a lot today. I can already tell. Jay Walsh is joining us. Jay DeCoster joining us. Matt Merrifield joining us. Matt Merrifield, special guest joining us. I don't know when, soon. Their special guest preview. Jay Walsh, I'll start with you. I know you're happy because we are recording on, well, you just said it should be a national holiday, but Masters Thursday, here we are. How are you feeling, Jay Walsh?
Absolutely impeccable. Beautiful timing for me to be working from home today, so I could just basically sit on the couch and just watch Masters coverage the entire day. So just absolutely wonderful time. We are thrilled to have the Masters back in swing, and we are ready to get into it.
Jay, you're probably just living life in Chicago right now. I don't think you have anything special, but just let's hear it. Let's talk about those Chicago Cubs. I don't even know how they're doing, but I know the White Sox are terrible. So the Cubs have to be good.
I mean, yeah, they're 9-6. They got a great offense. Extend Kyle Tucker. Tom Ricketts, you're not listening. You're not watching this, but if you are, please pay the man, but you won't because you're cheap. Anyways, I mean, they're looking good, but, it's a long season. As far as the other Chicago stuff goes, it's too cold. I'm ready for the summer. I'm getting sick of this. So yeah, but it's the Masters time. It's time to win some money and sit on the couch and listen to Jim Nantz.
Yes, Jay. Just last time somebody asked for a Tucker to get an extension, it did not end well.
Too soon.
Hey. He's missing in Chesterfield Township. Come on.
He might be out of the country at this point. I mean,
no, we have good sources that he's in Chesterfield Township, and somehow
was he spotted at a local Planet Fitness?
Crunch Fitness.
Okay.
Crunch Fitness.
Yes. Shout out Crunch.
Can I just ask, at what point does it become worth the amount of shit that MSU went through just for the pure entertainment aspect of this whole saga? Because I feel like we're kind of getting close to that point where this is becoming so entertaining that Mel Tucker is just apparently on the run that I feel like it's been worth the whole trouble.
Well, I honestly think we're at that point.
To quote our special guest, Allie Cohen, saying it doesn't get entertaining until it turns into an OJ situation. And
like there's a car chase. Like, I want live look. They located Mel. Now Mel is driving away in the Bronco, like
driving down I-94.
No, what are they called? The slingshot? I mean, driving in the slingshot.
Driving down
M59.
He's in the past Golden Butthole.
Anyways,
right past the Golden Butthole, down M59.
There we go. Matt, I don't know. Do you have anything to say before we get into this?
I mean, I'm happy to be back. I had a train. Oh, I remember, Jay, shout out to the Chicago Cubs. I will be broadcasting MSU baseball this weekend as they take on Northwestern. Craig Counsell's son plays for the Northwestern Wildcats. Jack Counsell, I believe.
You really?
I don't think he's that good, but he does
Probably
play.
Not.
So love a good Nepo baby. So
yes.
Shout out Northwestern baseball. They're playing a game at Wrigley Field later this year against Ohio State. Matt, you brought up the stat. Ohio State will have played a football game, a hockey game, and a baseball game at Wrigley Field in the same academic year. That just seems like a first. So shout out Wrigley Field, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Let's get into the NCAA tournament. It is over. The Florida Gators are your men's national champions. What a weekend. What a weekend. We'll obviously get into my dealings a little bit later, but Jay Walsh, I'll just start with you. I mean, it was an incredible weekend of basketball, and I don't think there's really anything else that you can say about how good or bad basketball was.
No, and I mean, that's I mean, if for anyone who was watching last week's episode, we kind of went over that and said that we expected this to be just this entire weekend to just be 3 really, really good basketball games, and that's what we got. It is just kind of funny to me that both of the teams that won in the Final Four kind of had come from behind victories. I mean, Florida was down at halftime against Auburn, down a little in the second half, and then they came back. And then obviously we saw what happened with Houston and coming back in the final minute to beat Duke. But just 2 really good games there. And then obviously the national championship comes down to the wire, Houston with a chance to win it at the end. But got to feel bad for Houston in that moment. But Florida, they were a great team all season. They were the hottest team going into the tournament that made them one of the most popular picks. So definitely a champion that deserved it. They were just one of the best teams all year. I kind of wrote them off a little bit, saying that I thought they might have peaked too early, but they proved me wrong. They managed to get through the tournament. They had a couple close calls, but they were one of the best teams and they proved it.
Jay, as Jay Walsh said, Florida came into this tournament one of, if not the hottest team in the country. And even though they've had their struggles along the way, especially those last 3 games where they were down at multiple points in the game, they find a way and they win their 3rd national title.
Yeah, obviously it's not surprising when you go in the SEC tournament and just run away in that gauntlet. It's not really surprising. I think there were a lot of our picks in this tournament. They just got Walter Clayton is just a certified beast. They just got so much talent, and they were able to pull away, especially against UConn, where they were trailing a decent majority of that game. They were able to pull away. That just shows the championship mentality they have. They were just unstoppable. You just can't, with the amount of talent they have, and the job that Todd Golden's done this year was just incredible. So I'll look at the other games. Just crazy by Duke. That collapse was just ridiculous. And, credit to Houston because, there was games like that earlier for Houston this year. Actually, it was at Fog Allen against Kansas where they had no business winning that game. I think they were down 6 with 20 seconds left. And I think Emmanuel Sharp had a game-winning 3 to win it. So that just speaks to what, it's just the grit that Houston has. So a very entertaining Final Four. I think that's what we asked for, even though the first and second rounds of the tournament didn't really deliver that well, except, for the Maryland game and a couple other games. But, you're seeing the Final Four delivered and kind of what we asked for. And it was awesome. And then that ending was, as good as that game was, it wasn't amazing, but of course it just ends like that. Very ugly game, and Houston can't even get a shot off because the guy travels and he can't pick up the ball. So overall, very, very fun Final Four to watch. I'm sure for you, Nick, you'll talk about it, but very fun for you as well.
Yeah, we'll get into it soon. Matt, obviously, I think it was a whole talking point. I know you weren't here last week, but the fact we had 4 1 seeds in San Antonio, the talk was that we should get 3 great games out of it because those are your 4 best teams in college basketball, and they very much proved it this tournament. And that's exactly what we got. It really felt like one of the better Final Fours we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I have to say it's probably the best Final Four we've had since, honestly, all 3 games being as good as they were probably since 2019 when we had, then that was considered a chalk tournament as well, even though there's a 5 seed being there. That was the tournament Virginia ended up winning. Because since then, there's always been at least one blowout, it feels like. And we've had some good Final Fours, but this one, it lived up to the hype. And I believe John Fanta was the one that said it going into the week that this Final Four was going to be like The Dark Knight, the movie. The hype was there going in, and then it still somehow lived up to the hype. So I'm glad it did. It was 3 games of entertaining basketball. I agree with Jay. The title game might not have been the best basketball we have to see, especially compared to what we saw on Saturday night. But kind of have to expect that going national title game. teams are going to be tight. Teams are going to shoot very well playing in that atmosphere, playing in an NFL stadium or a CFL stadium, I should say. And but overall, I have to say I was pretty happy with how this tournament went overall, despite it being quite chalk. It was a great one shining moment video, cannot lie. And the last thing I have to say, Nick, is that the criteria came through once again. We were at risk because Houston, obviously almost won, but the criteria comes through once again. We said before the tournament started that it was either going to be Auburn or Florida based on the Matt Merrifield metric, and both teams made the Final Four, and Florida ends up winning the title. So even though two of the teams that have won national title that haven't met my criteria have just their tempo hasn't been fast enough. Last year's UConn, and then that Virginia team, which resembled Houston, like I talked about, all of February, because I was in on the Cougars, and it sucked to see them lose. I really like Kelvin Sampson, but I was in on Florida pretty much once I realized they were for real at the end of February. And overall, it was a great tournament. I'm glad Duke lost. That's all I got to say. So,
I mean, any day is a good day when Duke loses. I would have to agree with that. I'll just do games first. 3 great games of basketball. It really was all we could ask for. I mean, after last year, like it's hard to top what last year was, at least for me. I know the games were not the best, but like that was just it's 2 different leagues. Like the games this year, much better, much more entertaining, I would say. And again, you couldn't really ask for much more. As a neutral, that's what we wanted, and that's what we got. Now, if let's just throw in Auburn loses, Michigan State wins. If Michigan State's in that Final Four, that is the most dreadful 2 hours of everybody's lives here, because that's how these games played out. They were, if you are a fan of any of those teams, that was a dreadful 2 to 2.5 hours when you're playing. And then if you win, you get, specifically speaking on Saturday, you win, you get 24-ish hours to regroup, and then you get to do it all again. And let's just say, I saw a few people melt down this weekend. And by few, I mean a lot. There were a lot of people melting down, not having good times. And that's honestly what this sport is about. It's about watching people be miserable. And you know what? Sometimes it's just fun to do that. So, overall, great weekend for basketball. And I really couldn't ask for much more. So I guess we'll go next. We'll rewind a little bit. Matt, you weren't here last week. As Western Michigan just scored, they are moving on to the national championship game, because I just looked up and saw that as they celebrate right in front of the Denver bench. That is incredible. Matt, you were in Atlanta 2 weeks ago. Give us your thoughts on the city, and then we can have a special guest presentation from a official aquarium aficionado, and maybe zoo aficionado too. But just let's get into Atlanta, Matt, before we get into San Antonio.
Atlanta is one of these cities of all time. It is truly the heart of the South. I mean, it was a good city. I'm going to hold on. And basically, how do I say this? When you spend 3 weekends in a row in a red state's major city, it can be a lot sometimes. I think that's just the best way to put it. Spending Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Atlanta 3 weeks in a row, you see a lot. I mean, all great cities, and I would go back to any of them in a heartbeat. Atlanta has the opposite problem of Cleveland. Everything's open at night. Everything's open till 3 a.m. for whatever reason, and nothing is open at like 9 a.m., which for some people in this room is better suited for. For myself, it is not suited well. The food is pretty good. There's not a ton to do. I mean, there's the Coke Museum, there's the aquarium, which you're about to hear about. But it's a good city, a lot of good food. I would go back.
There's a lot of Waffle House.
There's only one Waffle House in the city.
No, there's a lot more. That was just right in the block.
Well, the one Waffle House that's next to the Olympic rings, 10 out of 10. No free ads, but that one is great. The city also would be a lot better if there wasn't a volleyball tournament with over 1,200 volleyball teams playing in one weekend. 1,200 teams. So everywhere you went, the reason the hotel situation was so messed up in Atlanta was not because of the Sweet 16. It was because of this god-awful volleyball tournament. Everywhere you walked, there were volleyball teams. You would leave the arena after the game, volleyball teams, and a guy standing with a lemur.
I wanted to get
a lemur and a boa constrictor on his shoulder.
and a parrot.
And a parrot.
There was a parrot on one shoulder, a lemur wearing a sweatshirt on the other shoulder, and a giant boa constrictor Britney Spears style around the neck.
Maybe not boa constrictor, but you get the idea.
One of those big yellow snakes.
Big snake.
The Britney Spears snake.
Britney Spears. Anyways, so you get the idea. It's kind of a fake city, but once again, also a great city at the same time. So I did not go to Atlanta United game, even though I was invited to go by one of my friends, but I declined to go. But other than that, I got nothing. But the biggest and the best part about the weekend had to be the aquarium. Would you like to elaborate?
Yes. Well, first, I liked Atlanta. I mean, I'm a big city person. I was getting really sick of like Indy and Cleveland and that vibe. Like, that's just not my vibe.
Hey, no
Sorry,
dissing Cleveland.
Hey, I loved the Hall of Fame, Nick. We talked about it. That was a redeeming quality. Here, I've just selected my top 5.
Top 5 moments from the Georgia Aquarium presented by Allie
top
Cohen.
6, actually.
Top 6.
So first, it was incredible. We were there for 3 hours, and I at least could have been there longer, but you were not bored or anything, as far as I know.
It was fine.
Like, and shout out our photographer and our writer. They had an amazing time also. Like, they all loved it. And we went to a free dolphin show. The Dolphins come out to the same song as the MSU football team. Shout out Thunderstruck. It was quite entertaining. Like I don't know. We all enjoyed it. And you can like sit in the splash zone and like purposely get splashed by the Dolphins. Like the Dolphins are doing crazy shit. Like, it's not SEC. But something that I really enjoyed was the otter that reminded me of my dog, as you can see it pulling a blanket out of the water, and then it proceeds to wrap itself up in it and like cuddle. That's very my dog coded. He loves to wrap himself up in his blanket. Okay, these were actually cool. I believe this was Matthew's favorite part. The manta rays, they were like giant. They were, excuse focal point texting me. They were like actually massive. The video doesn't do it justice. It like the entire room got dark when they like floated over those lights. Like they're huge. That was your favorite part, correct?
Those were pretty cool.
Those were cool. This was the first time I've ever seen a sea turtle. I've never.
What?
Like in real life, no. They don't have sea turtles at most aquariums, and I've never like seen a wild one. I've never been to like Hawaii.
Don't they have it at the Detroit Zoo?
No, they don't. As someone who goes there quite a good amount.
Okay, the Toledo Zoo, maybe.
I don't know. This was my favorite. This was rescued from Taiwan. They were trying to kill him. There's 2 of them. They were trying to kill them for food. So they were rescued and they can't be put in the wild before any of the animal conservationists try to talk to me. And this was also the otter again. We were there for 3 hours. They had tons of stuff. They had albino animals. They had I've never seen an albino alligator before. That was cool. Any other comments about it? It was just really cool. I have got a lot more pictures, but I tried to be fast with it.
It was like watching NASCAR. Just all the fishes are going in circles, taking left turns around the tank.
Oh,
left turn.
Shout out beluga whales also. The beluga whales were definitely something, and they kept hitting the glass, and they had really weird builds. I don't know. But it was a great time. Our photographer and our writer, shout out Tim and Avery, they had the time of their lives also, not just me. Do you have anything else to say about it? Any questions? I think I texted.
Before you ask, it was $60.
But it's not always $60. It starts at 40. They freaking upcharged us because they knew.
Because of the damn volleyball.
Yeah, it
teams.
was literally the volleyball teams. We're not exaggerating. There were 1,500 volleyball teams in Atlanta. Someone told us. So just middle school and high school girls doing volleyball bump circles, literally everywhere you looked. The aquarium was worth it, though. It was worth my $60.
We can move on.
Okay. Thank you all for having me. I want to hear about the Alamo now.
Oh boy. Yeah, let's get into the great city of San Antonio. Wow, what a city. Let's get the big issue out of the way first. The Alamo Dome, maybe the worst stadium of all time. Truly a awful place. It's a dump. It's a disaster. When you have Andy Katz doing propaganda pieces on the scoreboard before the game, saying to go out and use the porta potties at halftime to keep the lines down inside the stadium, that tells you there's an issue. Concessions, bad and overpriced. I had a personal pizza on Saturday that was 20 United States dollars. Well, and first, they don't show prices on anything either. So when they said it was 20 United States dollars, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. It also tasted like cardboard. So that was also nice. They're one of those stadiums where they only have like bottles, like they don't have like, fountain drinks or anything like that. So you have to get your cap taken off too. Like they take your cap off your bottle, which is really annoying because then you're just carrying around like a bottle of water without a cap on it. It's dumb, but here we are. The actual like bowl of the stadium feels like it hasn't been touched since it was built in 1990. It's a disaster of a stadium. That place needs to be blown up yesterday. And yeah, but the actual city, what a city San Antonio is. It is a absolutely electric city, maybe one of the better cities I've ever been to. Of Final Four cities I've been to, it is number one. Now I've been to 2 Final Fours, so it's not a very big list, but San Antonio, outstanding city. Riverwalk, it is something else, especially if you go there at night. You see a lot of interesting things on the Riverwalk at night. And wow. At 8 o'clock in the morning, though, when you're walking just walking on the Riverwalk, there's nobody on it and it's quite peaceful. It's quite enjoyable. But I don't know what else. I feel like I'm rambling here. There's like 10 bars on every corner. It's like East Lansing on steroids. I think I texted that to you, Matt. Imagine they put a Riverwalk on the Red Cedar and just put bars all along it. That's basically San Antonio.
Don't give our athletic department any ideas, Nick. Hey. Have you seen the Spartan Gateway District or whatever the hell they're planning?
I have.
That's essentially what they're doing, except it's not on the river.
Yes. And
question.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1. Did you acquire any Roadrunners merch?
None to be found.
That's absolutely heartbreaking.
It really is.
Because if Michigan State made it, I would have been on a hunt for it.
Part of it was because I didn't have like a rental car. So like I wasn't going outside the city to actual campus to find it because the campus is not in downtown. But shout out UTSA and Incarnate Word, both the hosts for this Final Four. So shout out both of the birds. Matt, it sounds like you had more questions.
Why the comment of as somebody who is an avid UTSA fan, thanks to NCAA 14 and now NCAA 25, from somebody who played in the Alamo Dome in Road to Glory, I can safely say I knew that this Final Four was going to be in a crap hole. I think I texted you that in like November saying, sir, based on the renderings on EA Sports, this is why on earth is this place hosting a Final Four when US Bank Stadium and the Mercedes-Benz and Lucas Oil are hosting Final Fours? Why are we going to this rinky-dink arena, stadium, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, that was my other comment. Mike and Jody Merrifield also love San Antonio, Nick. So you're not the first that has good positive reviews.
Incredible to hear. But yeah, the San Antonio should be a Final Four city like once every 4 years. It should be in the rotation if the Alamo Dome wasn't real. I mean, what a disaster. What a disaster of a stadium. There are talks of renovations or rebuilds, so hopefully that is sooner rather than later. San Antonio, get on it. We need a Final Four back there.
Final question.
Yes.
We're all wondering it. The world is wondering it. And I asked you this while you were there. Can you confirm the reports from Charles Barkley about San Antonio women?
I can confirm. Very much can confirm. I very disappointing though. No churros to be found. I don't know how I didn't find them. I'm so disappointed. Like they have like 10 Mexican restaurants on the Riverwalk. None of them had churros. It feels like an injustice that I didn't get a churro there. But when you can't find them, what are you supposed to do? But yes, Charles Barkley correct about most of that city. With the river being a creek, can confirm that is not a river. When you can see the bottom from the river, like when you're on the sidewalk and you can see the, beer bottles that are thrown to the bottom of this so-called river, that's not a river, that's a creek. And yes, the aforementioned women of San Antonio, Charles Barkley is correct. And now I guess, now that Matt's really opened up the floor, I feel like I'm rambling. I will continue to open up the floor to Jay Walsh and Jay if they have any other outstanding questions about San Antonio, this city.
I would, but I don't know how I can follow up the Nick Burt confirming the big old women of San Antonio. So I pass.
Incredible. Jay's got nothing. Maybe. I don't know.
So, I mean, we're not going to talk about the Alamo Dome that much, but how bad was it? Like, is it just like a complete dump?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It is. I don't know how that place was home to the Spurs for 20 years.
Like Joe Louis dump or like, I don't even know what arena.
Is the concourse, like, I don't know. I mean,
the Sabres arena is also a dump, but I don't know if you've ever been there.
I have never been to Buffalo, so
I don't recommend.
It's a step above Joe Louis. I'll put it at that.
Okay. Okay.
Like, it's not falling apart. It just looks very run down. And none of the floor planning makes sense when you have basically when you're making people go outside and use the porta potties, you don't have enough bathrooms. That feels like a bit of a problem. So, also cellular service in that concrete block, non-existent. It is, I mean, not surprising, but I do have to say though, I do like that they let you go outside and walk around like the stadium and stuff like that because, well, the concourse is so cramped that they kind of have to. So that's actually kind of like interesting because no other stadium basically does that. But overall, Alamo Dome a dump. Also didn't mention the Alamo, like the actual one, waste of time almost. That place is quite small. Very disappointing. Like once you go in there, there's like nothing in there. Like they have the flags of the states and then they have like an American and Mexican flag like on the walls. And that's about it. It is very disappointing. So yeah, if nothing else, I feel like we can wrap that up there. If there are any last questions, we can keep the floor open or move on to a quick recap of the event on Sunday that I'm so happy about that I'm switching over the hats because if you can read that well, yeah, UConn Huskies, national champions once again. It's number 12, for Gino Auriemma and those scrappy UConn Husky underdogs because, hey, they were the lowest seed in this tournament to make the Final Four. What a run. What a journey. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy that we got number 12. Jay, we'll start with you. Do you have any parting thoughts on the women's tournament?
I mean, you can't bet against Gino Auriemma. The guy's GOAT. He has. I know UConn is. So he has all 12 of UConn's national championships.
Yep.
Wow. I mean,
3 decades.
It's a good way for Paige Beckers to go out because I think she's been in college for like 6 years. No disrespect, but I mean, yeah, I'm surprised by that score though. 82-59. Like for South Carolina standards, that's pretty disappointing. I mean, to get blown out like that, but for UConn, I mean that's their first championship in I think 8-9 years. Am I correct?
9 years.
Yeah, I mean that's where they belong. Like they've been a powerhouse. They kind of went on like a hiatus and are back on top. So I mean, nothing else. I mean, I picked them to win beginning, and they were just kind of due for one. So yeah, I mean, good for Gino because he's like the best coach, the best women's coach of all time behind Pat Summitt.
Behind Pat Summitt. What kind of joke is this here, Jay? He is the best. There is no behind anybody. I'm just saying. Matt, your kind of thoughts here. I know you probably don't have any, but just go ahead.
Other than the fact that when I checked the futures bets for them before the weekend had started, and like you mentioned, lowest seed remaining, and yet they were minus money to win the title going into the semifinal game. That's insane. And, I could have placed a wager on it. I didn't think the value was there. I mean, there was always value in a winning bet, but congratulations to the Huskies. Congratulations to Paige Beckers. And that's about all I got. So congratulations, UConn, UConn.
Look at that. Perfectly got the chant down. That is just impeccable. Jay Walsh, we'll close it out with you. Your final thoughts here.
I feel like my opinion was shared pretty well on last week's episode when I mentioned the fact that I'm pretty sure Paige Beckers is like 32 and she's been in college longer than some people have been alive. But no, congrats to UConn. I mean, great team. I mean, obviously you've got the GOAT coaching. It was kind of interesting how that game played out because I don't know too many people expected that game to go that way. Because I mean, I was scrolling through channels and I saw the game was on and I was like, all right, let's see what's going on. This should be a pretty good game. Turned it on in the third quarter and UConn was already up like 19. So, I mean, I watched most of the fourth quarter, caught the end of the game. And I mean, it was just dominance from the moment I turned it on, it was just UConn dominance. So, I mean, congratulations to UConn. Congrats to Paige. Obviously, she had a great college career, even though it did last 15 years. But hopefully, she'll do good things in the WNBA before she retires in 2 years. But yeah, congrats.
Okay. She's only been in college 5 years, but I don't know. Math is hard sometimes. We're journalism majors. Math is not our strong suit. I think that's very well known. But yeah, Jay Walsh, I know you said you didn't see it coming. I did from a mile away. I mean, I watched that game in February when these two faced off, and it was the exact same game. UConn won by like 25. And that was in Columbia too. They were never going to be close in this game. That's why before I even got on my plane on Saturday, before I went down to Texas where sports gambling is not legal, like no talk of it whatsoever. I made sure I put a wager down on UConn. I think it was -6.5 at the time. And that cashed quite easily. So shout out UConn for covering that. That was great. I did say to a few people on Sunday, I thought that was it at the end. I thought Gino was just going to kind of walk it off right there. now that we're to Thursday and there really hasn't been anything and he's kind of been on a media tour, I think he's running it back again next year. Sure, why not? I mean, Sarah Strong is going to be an absolutely dominant player. I mean, she's only a freshman this year. She can only get better from here. I can't wait to see this team next year. As much as I love this team, they were absolutely great. It's going to be very interesting to see how they follow it up next year because they haven't had truly like these expectations in almost a decade. You know, coming off a national championship, you are the standard, and they just haven't been there the past decade, basically, because as Jay said, it's been 9 years since they've won a national title. And they've made a Final Four basically every one of those years except the COVID year and 2023, I believe it was, when Paige tore her ACL and was out the whole year. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this team, you know, tampers with expectations. I'm sure Gino will have it all figured out, and I'm starting to go on a rant about Gino here, and he'll announce his retirement tomorrow, and that will be something that very much would happen to this show. But we'll move on from the national champion UConn Huskies. Let's quickly talk Frozen Four because that is actually going on as we record. As mentioned previously, Western Michigan's already on to the national title game. Boston University and Penn State have not hit puck drop yet. Matt, we'll go to you first. Obviously, we only got one game to preview here. Who do you think will be taking on Western Michigan in the national title game on Saturday night?
It's hard to bet against the Nittany Lions right now. I mean, I've kind of fallen in love with them pretty much since they came to East Lansing on senior weekend for Michigan State when they came in and took, I think, 5 of the 6 points that weekend from the Spartans. They just are a different team than what they were. I mean, at Christmas time, they went to the frozen confines at Wrigley Field, and they lost that game in a shootout to Notre Dame. And since then, I think they've lost like 3 games since or something like that. It's been ridiculous. Them and Western Michigan have been completely different teams since the new year. It's kind of funny how their turnaround really started that weekend. They played Michigan State at home. Similarly, Western Michigan, since they lost in the GLI final game to Michigan State, have just been different teams. Guy Godowski is, I think, the most underrated coach in college hockey. He's been there at Penn State since their program was born, and he's done such a good job. And I'm hoping that they win a national title. The way Western Michigan looked in the first 40 minutes today, I didn't watch the third period, and I did not see overtime or in the second overtime when they won it. Those first 40 minutes, I don't know if I've seen a more dominant 40 minutes from a team against another top 10 team all season long in college hockey. Western Michigan was just controlling that entire game. I think it'll be a really well-coached game, and it's going to be a really good game on Monday. Should it be Penn State versus Western Michigan? I think BU's still a really solid hockey team, and this should be Michigan State playing Penn State right now. But, Colgate had to happen. I would love to be in St. Louis at this moment in time, but the card just did not unfold the way they probably should have for the Spartans. Luckily, the Spartans will probably be even better next year with the announcements of Isaac Howard coming back. Trey Augustine will be back. Caden Lidstrom's coming into town. But for this Frozen Four, I mean, Western Michigan's the best team in college hockey, at least the best team remaining. I still think Michigan State's a better team. I think we saw that. Nick, you were at that game at the GLI. Western Michigan's good, but Michigan State's just a better version of it, I think. And that's just part of the beast of the NCAA tournament for hockey. So it's unfortunate Michigan State wasn't there. And obviously BC was still really talented. But hey, maybe we saw the best matchup of college hockey this year at Van Andel Arena on, what was that, December 30th?
December 30th. What a day. That was the actual national championship.
College hockey peaked on December 30th, 2024 for this count, for this 24-25 season. But overall, what a hell of a year for Penn State. I'm rooting for them tonight. I hope they get it done against BU. Yeah, they play BU. It's gonna be a great goaltending matchup as well. And we'll see where the cards fall. But I think Western wins on Saturday night, regardless, unfortunately.
And Matt, as stated in the preview, you know the stat. The 2 previous times the Frozen Four has been in St. Louis, a Michigan team has won the national title. we are 60 minutes away from it happening again. Jay Walsh, your quick thoughts on this game tonight and who will be playing Western Michigan in the national title on Saturday?
Well, as has been previously gone over in different episodes of this show, I am far from a college hockey aficionado. However, I do get a lot of info from my one of my coworkers who happens to be a big BU guy. His son played at BU, so he's big supporter of the Terriers. It would be very cool as a Big Ten fan who lives in the state of Michigan, obviously, to see Western Michigan versus Penn State in the championship. Kind of selfishly, I still like the fact that MSU is the last Big Ten team to win a hockey national championship, but obviously would be cool to see that. But I think my coworker would probably kill me if I didn't root for the Terriers here. So I'll be going BU in this spot. And then I did catch a decent amount of that Western Michigan MSU game in the GLI. And I mean, obviously my knowledge of college hockey is not the best, but Western Michigan looked like a good team. They obviously have gotten to the point where they were one of the 4 ranked seeds in this tournament. So they are a very good team. I'll probably go with Western Michigan there. But yeah, I'll go with BU to beat Penn State.
And then Jay, we'll go to you. Just your final kind of thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Matt. I am pulling for Penn State. I mean, Big Ten. They've been they're one of the best, the hottest college hockey teams right now. And you're going up against BU, who's been there, done that. So I would take Penn State to win us. I'd pull for them as well. So be a fascinating matchup. And then Western, obviously, they've been one of the best teams all year. If Michigan State's obviously out. So Western, I mean, they're the favorite to win this thing. I expect them to win it. So at Western versus Penn State, I'll take Western to win the whole thing. And that'd be pretty cool for the state of Michigan to get another national title. So give me Western over Penn State. So
yeah, it's going to be a good game whenever it starts. I know it's like 40 minutes after the first game ends, so we're probably getting close to puck drop of that second game. Just with the way that Penn State has been playing, I won't be shocked at all. As much as it does kill me to pick them, because I mean, UConn should have won that game, but here we are. They lost in overtime to Penn State on it at least was an insane goal, but we really should be talking about the Huskies here, but we're not. I'm not mad about it at all. But Penn State's playing incredible hockey right now. I will not be surprised if they make it to the national championship game. But Western Michigan's the best team left in this tournament, and I think they take it home on Saturday night. It's their first final or Frozen Four. It's going to be their first national title as they bring the trophy to Kalamazoo. Let's wrap it up here with Jay Walsh's favorite tournament of the year, the Masters. We made our picks last night prior to starting today. Jay Walsh, I'll just start with you. I know this is your thing, so let's get into the Masters.
We will get into it. Had to represent for the Masters Thursday that we are recording on. Wonderful day. Should be a national holiday, but we'll get into that. My official picks for the Masters. I only placed U.S. currency on one man to win the Masters, and that is Colin Morikawa at plus 1,600 odds. I really liked Colin Morikawa going into this tournament. I saw somebody put the stat out there. There have only been 2 golfers, I believe it was, to finish top 10 in the last 3 Masters tournaments: Scotty Scheffler and Colin Morikawa. So he's played well at this course. He entered playing very well this season. So I really liked Colin. I think he's got the game to really play well at Augusta. did okay in his opening round today. So he fell back a little bit towards the end. He was up by the top of the lead. He was up at the top of the leaderboard for a while, kind of fell off, but still at even par, didn't shoot himself out of it. He'll need a good round tomorrow. I had a couple top 5 bets that I placed. I put Hideki Matsuyama plus 490 and Will Zalatoris at plus 700. Matsuyama, obviously former champion, usually tends to play well at Augusta. He's great golfer. He's one of the top 10 golfers in the world year in, year out. So he's pretty much always a good bet for a solid finish at Augusta. And then Zalatoris, I thought was really, really good value at plus 700 for a top 5 finish. He has 3 career Masters under his belt. He finished 2nd in one, tied for 6th in another, and then tied for 9th. So he's finished top 10 in all 3 Masters he's played in. So he has a great track record there. He's a good young up and coming player. My only concern with him is that sometimes his putting is not very good and you need to putt well at Augusta. But like I said, he has a good track record at the course. So I believe that he can put himself in contention. And then I have a couple top 10 finishes. Cam Smith at plus 360 and Sahith Theegala at plus 600. Cam Smith, again, usually a good bet at Augusta, plays very well there. He's arguably the best putter in the world. I did have a little bit of trouble with this one just because the live golfers, I don't pay that much attention to live, so I don't really know how any of them are playing going into the tournament, but I know that Cam Smith is usually a very good bet here. And then Theegala, I view as one of those guys that it's a matter of when, not if, he wins a major. He's a very talented player, had one of the best college golf careers ever at Pepperdine. He's a guy that has the game to do it at Augusta. He's got a very good short game, hits the ball a long way. So I definitely think that he could break through. And then last and least, unfortunately, I had to do it. Patrick Reed for a top 20 finish at plus 170. I hate the guy. I don't think anybody really likes him, but he plays well at Augusta. Obviously former champion, but every year it seems like he's in contention. And to get him at plus odds for a top 20 finish, I feel like was borderline free money. So I just thought that was too good a value to pass up. So I will pass on to somebody else here. I am hoping that I didn't have by far the most picks here. Hopefully we have some good picks coming up.
All right, Jay, we'll go to you next. Who do you have in your Masters picks?
Yeah, coming in the tournament, I was leaning on 2 guys. And I told you guys I was really like, Rory's got to complete the Grand Slam eventually. Who knows when it will happen. He's world number 2. He won the Players earlier this year. He's playing really well. He was 4 under. And then, of course, in typical Rory meltdown, 15, he double bogeyed. It was a really good ship, but it was a little too fast. And 15 is not very forgiving at all. If you're hitting it too fast, you're going to end up in that water. So that wasn't too encouraging. So he can still do it. I mean, it's only Thursday, but he's 2 under right now. So we'll see where that goes. I also had Ludwig Eberg. He is top 5 in the world right now. He's going to win a major soon. He's a very good player. He's come in top 5 in finishes the last few years in a couple majors. So he's going to be right there. I have him to win. I think I got him at plus 1,100, I believe. Some other picks I have is, this is live betting right now because it's after Thursday. So Bryson plus 700. You can't really bet against Bryson in these spots. Love or hate the guy. The guy's always going to be in these majors, even though, he is live and you don't really see him that much. He's amazing. He won the U.S. Open last year, so he's always going to be in that spot. A couple other bets I like Victor Hovland, top 10 plus 300. Those are just some decent picks for that. And also up and coming player here, Min-Woo Lee, top 10 plus 250. I feel like he's only I think he's 23 or 24 years old. So he's a very up and coming player. I like him at those odds. So just a couple picks to watch out for. Obviously, everyone's going to be taking Scotty. You can't really bet against him to to repeat. He's world number one for like the last couple of years now. So those are just a couple picks there that, I think we can watch out for.
All right, Matt, we'll move on to you next. Your picks here for the Masters.
I'll get the first one quickly out of the way because I'm tailing Mr. Justin Walsh. I think Colin Morikawa finally gets it done this year. He is, I'm not a huge golf fan, but he has been my favorite since when I really actually started watching during COVID. I think like summer of 21 was when he really, I believe that was the year he won the Open. And he also, I think that was his first of his stretch runs at the Masters. And I really like the way he hits the ball. He's really good with his irons, and that's what you have to do at the Masters. He putts well, unlike Will Zalatoris. My dad loves to slander Will Zalatoris' putting because he loves Will Zalatoris, but he makes fun of him for it. But yeah, so I think Morikawa wins it. I turned him off today. I was watching him until he eagled, and then as soon as he eagled, I turned it off. And then he bogeyed 3 of the last 4 holes, which wasn't great, but hey, it's early. So my other bets I have quite a few. I have Victor Hovland to finish top 20. I got that at plus 110. I feel like he always puts on a strong showing at the Masters, and I think he's a really strong golfer. I bet on this one. I've tailed simply because shout out the sports editor at WDBM, Jack Sager. He is a Tommy Fleetwood truther. That's his favorite golfer. And he said he's going to finish top 20. It was at minus 115. I took that as well. I did bet Matsuyama to finish top 10 at plus 210. I know he didn't have the best day today, but it's still early. I took Cam Smith. I got a profit boost on that. So I got Cam Smith to finish top 20 at plus 189. I feel really good about that. I know he's always in it. And I know he's a live guy, correct, Jay Walsh? I know but I know he's always in the majors. I know he's pretty good with his putter. And then the last one I have, this one I took a flyer on. I bet that plus 135 that there will be no aces at this year's Masters. So I saw it. I saw the bet, and I'm like, this is like betting on the coin flip in the Super Bowl, and this is golf Super Bowl. So I was like, you know what? Plus money at no hole-in-ones. We're going to take it. We'll see what happens. So as right now, we're still standing. I put $3 on it, plus 135. We'll see if I get my 705 back. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the weekend. I know the weather's supposed to be absolutely beautiful. They were talking about today, not even that much wind. So I expect there to be some decent scores. Jay, I know you love Bryson. He did shoot 2 over today by his standards. But so we'll have to, I had to throw that one in there. But otherwise, I'm excited. I get to golf for the first time next week with Mr. Jay DeCoster. So that should be an absolute blast. Haven't touched the club since golf class last October. So we'll see if that class was worth the singular credit. But overall, let's have ourselves a weekend.
Matt, just to correct, first of all, I'm very excited to golf with you next week. Bryson was 3 under. So
I know.
Okay.
He called Augusta a par 67.
Yes. We'll see.
So
Bryson never I don't know. He doesn't really play that great at Augusta, but he's been amazing the last couple of years. So he's just disrespecting Augusta. Come on, Bryson. What are we doing? It's crazy.
He's a douche. He can't help himself.
Jay Walsh, our invites must have got lost in the mail for this golf next weekend. What can we say?
Yeah, I haven't received mine yet. I'm still checking the mailbox every day just to see if it's there. But
yeah, but for me at least, I took Victor Hovland to win this Masters. I'll be honest, I don't watch golf enough to actually be trusted to make a pick here. I picked him to pick him. That was it. But my real plays, my real ones, I got 2 of them. I do it almost every year. Berhard Langer to make the cut and Freddie Couples to make the cut. Both of them were plus money. Freddie Couples had a good day today. He's 1 under par. And
hold out for Eagle today.
You want to talk about being disrespectful to Augusta? Freddie Couples was playing with a yellow golf ball.
Hey, he played with an orange one at the par 3 contest yesterday. That's what he does.
My dad, I texted my dad and he goes, that's because he's too old to see the damn ball. So That's the only way he can find it. But I don't know. Continue, Nick.
Those are my plays. That's it. That's all I got. So again,
I would like to shout out JT and Jordan Spieth. I bet on both of them today to be the leaders at the end of day one. Because I know damn well Jordan Spieth isn't winning this tournament, but I thought he'd actually show up, and he did early on and fell apart at the end. And then JT did his best Matt Merrifield impression on the golf course for the first 14 holes that I saw, where he could not keep it in the fairway and yet was still scoring. So, or keeping himself afloat, I should say. So shout out JT for, I think it was hole 7 where he was not on his hole until he landed on the green and still parred. So, but all right, other than that, I got nothing.
I did also place a couple first round leader bets that did not pan out. And I just want to say I am very disappointed in myself that I didn't think about Justin Rose for that, because it seems like every year the first round he fucking kicks ass. And then Friday he plays fairly well and usually heads into the weekend either at the top of the leaderboard or right there. So I can't believe I didn't think about it. I'm sure he would have been very good odds for first round leader in the clubhouse, but disappointed in that. None of my first round leader bets were even remotely close to hitting. So that was good.
I need to throw in a live bet because shout out Tyrell Hatton, who looks like your roommate Heath. He is a doppelganger for Heath. I mean, if you've seen a picture of Tyrell Hatton, just look him up. He looks exactly like Heath. It's not even close. Heath, who joined us for the beginning of the March Madness bracket, great guest. He looks exactly like Heath, and it's not even close. I was like, that is Heath right there when I was watching him. So Tyrell Hatton, put a live bet on Tyrell Hatton to win, because he was 300 today, so he's usually always up there to crack the top 20 here and there. So that's all I got. Shout out Heath.
incredible. No words. There are no words to truly describe what we have just heard from Mr. J. DeCoster. And I think that's honestly a perfect way to wrap this up, unless you guys have any final parting thoughts on anything, whether it be the Masters, Frozen Four, the tournaments. Just, yeah.
The Detroit Tigers are back.
Wow. They're a whole one game above 500, and it's still April.
Okay, buddy, their first 3 games they played against a not real baseball team. You can throw those 3 games out. Let me put it this way. They got swept in their first series by a not real baseball team, and they're still leading the American League Central. What does that say about the rest of the AL Central?
It's dog shit.
Hey, I don't know if any of you guys saw, not today, but the previous 2 games between the Guardians and White Sox and how they both ended.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible baseball.
Shout out Mike Buckman. Pull a hammy.
Yes.
It's on the IL probably.
Jay Walsh, I want it known that I did bet last week before opening day. I did bet on the Tigers under 83.5 wins at -106. So.
Thank you for securing the Tigers AL Central win this season.
See.
Appreciate it.
We'll see.
I'm really hoping what we're seeing from the Tigers offense is not a fluke. I'm not buying into it. I need more time, especially from Spencer Torkelson. I need a solid month out of him. If he can keep this up for a month, I'll start to believe again. I've been hurt too many times. So I need to see more, but I'm praying that this is not a fluke, because this is the best offense the Tigers have had since, I want to say, probably 2014, which is really sad to say, because they're really not even lighting the world on fire, which just goes to show how bad the offenses have been over the last decade. But anyway, I'll shut up about the Tigers.
Hey, I just want to say there's a certain player out there that you don't have to wait a month and see and make sure that he's still good. Stephen Kwan gets hits every day, always on base. You can never count him out. He quanned the White Sox today with a home run. That was nice to watch. Incredible. We'll wrap it up. Well, he's one of the best baseball players of all time. So you just got to face facts. Also, speaking of great players, shout out Matthew Dellavedova, a Sydney King now. He's left Melbourne. He is now a Sydney King. If you saw my Twitter, I did not exclusively break the news, but I gave my exclusive reactions prior to the national championship game on Monday night, live from the Alamo Dome. There were some people around me that were very confused, but it was what it was. I had to get that news out there to the people. But with that being said, we will wrap up this edition of the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. There's basically no sports going on, and we still went over an hour. You can just always count on it. So for Jay Walsh, for Jay, for Matt, for Allie, who may still be there, may not be, I don't know. We're wrapping up here. Thank you so much for watching. Click like, click subscribe, tell anybody you know about it. We may be back next week. We may not be. Who knows? I don't know. We may ramble. We may not. We'll see. We'll see you sometime soon, maybe sometime later. I don't know. We'll see you at some point for another episode of the Merrifield Sportsbook Show.